Oh man. I thought I was recording. That's why I was joking around.
No, no, I am.
Oh, damn.
So last time on Pathfinder, when we were finding our paths, I remember we all went through a little bit of a traumatic event. Despero has found a strange ring inside of the area, the cellar that y'all went into. But he's also gotten himself arrested, first and foremost, by trying to get part of the local Leshy community to hide drugs for him. That's the first and foremost thing that's happened.
As you do.
Layla, you found your missing crew member. He seemed to be mixed in with a pile of meat, probably ground up. You found tatters of his clothing and a pin that would identify him as part of your operation. Or rather, I should say part of D's operation. One of your regular group members when you go out on jobs. Olivia, you were given a special pendant and are staying with the nice lady that was chaperoning you from the guild, from the Bounty Hunters Guild, named Lydia, and her husband Jeff Worldslayer. Whom, while Lydia was away, Jeff gave you strange information and a small metal icon in case you ran into trouble with members of a certain church, which he did not name for you, if I'm remembering correctly, but he said it is prolific in on the continent of Armoltos. I don't remember if he said that or not, but from
We'll have to look back at the stream again.
Well, I have to upload that one first because that one was also just recorded, so I have to upload that one. Yeah, I'm behind on that because of school. I'm behind on that because of school, and I do not like leaving my computer on overnight. What was I saying?
I may just hit a Friday night.
Said something about Olivia got a pendant.
Yes, Olivia received a pendant, a small metal item related to some church that her mother was investigating. She learned this from Jeff Worldslayer, Lydia's husband, and Winsby. Back at the seafood shanty, you seem to have been a witness to a brutal beating, though not there in the room. You witnessed the beginning of it and ran and hid upstairs. Then afterwards, you were going around cleaning some of the things that were left around after this bloody scene caused by the man who had shouted at you the day before. Though it was clear that he did not like you, given what you are, he still apologized for his actions the previous day.
Confounding me.
Yes, completely confounding you.
Damn.
Layla, if I remember correctly, you were back on the ship also, waiting to see if, resting because of what happened, but also you were worried about the ship cat Scrungeon returning, because after you, Gade, and Douglas returned back to the ship, Scrungeon, you realized that Scrungeon was not there with you. But when you told D about it, while you were telling him what had happened, he told you not to worry. Scrungeon always finds his way back. And if something does seem to have happened to that cat, then he will personally go out and hunt for him.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start with Olivia this time, actually. I'm going to hold you in suspense, Angel, about you being arrested.
Focus on literally everybody until we have no
Me trying not to drop the soap.
Angel, you're not in prison yet. You're just in the holding cell.
Roll dexterity saving throw.
No, hey, it's a reflex save.
For not dropping the soap?
No. For avoiding others after he drops it.
No, we have to see if he drops it first.
That's a fortitude save to keep his hands from shaking.
All right, for sure.
But no, you're not in prison yet, but you are in the holding cells waiting for the guards, the constabulary of this city to question you. Despero, but Olivia. Lydia knocks on the door for the guest room. Just check on you, see how you're doing this fine morning.
Come in.
Hello there, dearie. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing okay. How are
Mm.
you?
I'm alright.
Good.
The wounds are, well, they're healed up pretty well thanks to that friend of yours.
Good. Good. I'm glad.
I was wondering if you'd be willing to speak with the guard again. They came here a little bit ago. They were wondering if they could speak to you, ask if you would be willing to return to that place we went to yesterday.
Yeah, sure.
Are you certain? You don't have to.
I'll go.
Alright.
I mean,
Would you still like me to accompany you?
that's up to you.
Alright.
I won't ask you to return there. It's kind of odd they're asking me to go.
I find it strange as well, but
Yeah, considering I can't see.
yeah. I think they might think that you might be hiding something for some strange reason, but I'm not. That's the best I can think of. Why they'd request that
But
you go there.
why?
I don't know. I really don't
Okay.
know. Let's get you breakfast first.
Okay. She is gonna follow Lydia out the room.
Lydia carefully guides her downstairs to the dining room, sits Olivia down at the table, and you can hear Jeff whistling to himself while he's making breakfast.
Good morning.
Oh, howdy there. You can smell that it's something that your mother has actually cooked for you in the past.
She just smiled.
Someone's in a happy mood.
Whatever you're making just brings back memories.
Oh. From whom?
My mom.
Oh. Well, maybe that's because I taught her.
Oh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Not much to teach, though.
Was she miserable at cooking before?
Yeah. Went out on a few jobs with her. Had to stay out places, camping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, here you go. And you hear him set a plate down in front of you, and you hear the gentle rattling of silverware being placed down.
Thank you.
Okay, and then Lydia sits down next to you as well. She's quiet for now. She's just mulling over something. Aspen, I can hear your music.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
She carefully found the utensils.
Okay.
Started eating.
Okay. While you're having breakfast, Winsby. Now that it's the morning, this is a little bit earlier than Olivia getting up, but there are guards kind of surrounding the place, and you hear like a loud banging on your door. Someone asking you to exit the room.
Bro, what the fuck? Oh no. God damn. I knew my boss just got killed yesterday. This is gonna be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey.
He did?
Well, he
We'll
might
get to
not be
that.
dead,
We'll
but
get to
he was
that.
brutally maimed.
Yes, he was in fact
Right.
brutally maimed by the same man who was racist against Winsby.
Yeah, and then the guy apologized to me, like, what the fuck?
For allowing his racism to slip.
I see, he might be important in town. Can't afford to let something like that show
Mm-hmm.
in public.
I gotta look at my list of people. God, I have too many.
Alright, let's get up. I'm gonna wait for the... Get up, just hold my hands up. I'm gonna wait for them to enter the room, because I cannot tell them that I'm coming toward the door.
They bang again. Please step out of the room, sir. And
All
then-
right, let's just do this slowly.
Okay. As you open the door, you see the tip of a sword kind of gently peek through, but then a large force like forces the door the rest of the way open to like throw you back in case it kind of throws you back a little, but like
I just want to like at the sword. I want to like kind of jump back. Like,
all right, give me a reflex save.
okay.
You don't need to, but give me one since you're jumping back from it. 18. Okay, yeah. The instant you see like the tiniest glint of the tip of this man's broadsword, you kind of jump back, but you sit down to kind of show and like keep your hands up to show that you're not a threat to them.
Let's go.
Okay, sir. I'd like you to please stand up. I need to check you for any weapons.
All right.
Do you have anything on you?
Alright.
He says as he like after you stand up, he kind of steps over to you. Do you have any
I
weapons
just
on
shake
you?
my head.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna make sure of that, and he pats you down. All right, he's clear, and then two other guards enter the room behind him. Now that he said that you don't have anything on you.
I'm visibly about to have some sort of break right now with two more people entering the room.
They
After this guy makes sure I'm unarmed.
they seem to not care, but you can tell from what they're wearing that they are official. Excuse me, city guards.
That doesn't mean they're not racist.
It doesn't mean that. I'm just telling you that like they are here on official business, especially given
Okay.
the way that the door was opened.
Okay. That's good.
Sir, do you know about how long have you been staying here?
I just like a 2.
Two. He gives you a puzzle. There's one behind you. You can kind of see him out of the corner of your right eye. The other one is standing like off in front of you, but to your left, and there's one directly in front of you. The one directly in front of you is the one that questioned you. And he gives you a very puzzled look because you just held up 2 fingers.
I like tried to talk as well as like sign to him. It's only been like 2 days.
He looks at your hand confused. But the one in front of you to your left is like, oh, okay. He's a mute. Because he sees you mouthing the words.
Okay. Very cool.
Sir, please step over to the desk.
Alright.
And they give you a pencil and some paper.
Alright, like 2 days.
Alright. How long have you worked here?
2 days.
Both? You were given lodging when you were hired?
Yes.
Have you been inside the cellar?
Yes. A couple times.
What did you see down there?
Well, the first time I just like went to the bottom of the stairs because I thought it was weird. Because I saw it looked weird.
Did you see
So it was,
anything
like,
down there that
hidden
first
first.
time?
No. Just went like further back. And then the second time.
Then the second time.
The second time there was like some kind of medium-sized room. I think a lot of contraband. Maybe not contraband. I heard it's legal here. The amount of it probably isn't good to hold though.
Say again for me?
There's quite a lot down there, so I don't know about the legality on that.
Well, what... Did you see anything else down there? Anything we should know about?
No.
Now,
I didn't see anything.
Is there anything down there that would implicate you in Tobias's operation?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Are you certain that you don't think so?
No,
You understand
well,
withholding information like this could get you in a lot of trouble.
There was a couple other people down there with us. There was a kind of mouse dude. He's like kind of, he doesn't seem all there.
So we have a Mouseums and
What was his name, like Despero or something?
you know his name, but you do not know how to spell it.
Okay. I don't know how to spell that. I don't know how to spell his name, but he was a.
Spell it like you were sounding it out. The one who initially confronted you says, but
I do like it.
You can tell he sounds
I do
kind of
like a
frustrated.
I do like a dictionary enunciation.
Mm-hmm. You feel all three of them just like kind of hunched over your shoulders, bearing down on you.
This is horribly stressful.
Yep.
Yeah, but I just do like a dictionary pronunciation guide for the spelling.
Sorry, say that one more time for me, Tim.
I do a dictionary pronunciation guide for the spelling.
I like the idea that you just dictionary pronunciation guide. So you mean the IPA? Sorry, I'm being
I guess.
Sorry, I'm being a pedant about that.
Do they actually use that in dictionaries?
Yes, they do. It's a different
Okay,
IPA than
yeah.
It's a different IPA than is used for lyrics for music, but it is still IPA.
For some reason, when you say IPA, I think about
you think about beer.
pentameter.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say alcohol because you're an alcoholic. Got him.
Oh no, I wasn't even thinking about beer. IPAs are like gross, but I'm like kind of.
Anyway, we're getting off topic. All right,
I might need another drink after that conversation.
Now, sir, you do understand that we will need to bring you in for some further questioning, given the circumstances.
Would it be possible to see if we can get a Leshy translator, like to make things smoother?
You know them? You know the Leshies?
A few. I'm at least a bit druidic by.
No, don't say it like that, please.
Oh, sorry. I've got a little druid in me.
I will stab you for that. With where you've been, you wouldn't really know the term druid.
I used to spend a lot of time like helping clean up around the forest.
Did they ever have you help them clean up in the south end of town?
Not really. One of them like ham-fisted me into working here.
What do you mean he ham-fisted you into working here?
Like I thought he needed help with something, and then he just like had me sit down for a meal here, and then told the guy I was trying to get a job.
What's the name of this Leshy?
Tauntaun.
Well, since you're writing it down, he can see how it's spelled, so never mind. I was about to say, how is that spelled? How is it spelled? Asking the man who literally just wrote it down.
How do you spell that?
How do you
writes
spell
it down
that? Again. I was gonna say, how's it spelled? Hold it up to him so he can see it better.
Imagine if Than's character did not know how to read or write.
I would have loved that so much.
That would have been incredible to get through. I cannot communicate with anyone.
Except for the Leshies
well,
for now.
Except for the Leshies, like signing or something.
Well, thank you for your cooperation, sir. We'll need to take you down to the,
there are two other people that looked at a different thing, but I don't know their names.
What did they... Can you give us a description of them?
No, it wasn't like two other people. Sorry, it was like two other groups.
With the way that things were down in the cellar, how they looked, you would have really seen it as like 4 or 5 other people.
Just like 4. I think there's one of them that I probably didn't see.
That's fair. But yeah, with the way you would have seen it, you would have seen like a group of like somewhere between 4 to 6 other people. Somewhere between those numbers. 4 to 6 other people down in a different area, and then you guys like really decided you needed to get out of there.
There was like a foxy delivery lady.
Don't say it like that. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
I
like the idea.
Right.
I like the idea of Winsby saying that about a literal fox woman.
Yeah, there's like a Foxy delivery lady, and then there's a
You said the Radams.
yeah, the Radams was with me, and then there's like 2 people with the Fox lady.
All right, what did they look like?
I don't remember them. I don't remember them as well. The Fox lady really stood out.
Dan, do you want to do a history check for me
Yeah, sure.
to see if you can remember what they look like? Or
That's
no,
still not
sorry, to
one of
see
them.
how well you can remember what they look like. I
What
should
was it?
say.
History?
Yeah.
Shit, where's history?
Do one of the things that says lore, write history in there,
Okay.
because that one's
History
gonna be intelligence.
lore.
No, sorry.
12.
Roll society for. We'll count that as your society roll. That still goes off of intelligence, I think. Yeah, this
Society?
Yeah, society.
Yeah,
I'm gonna count
12.
that because you're trying to recognize members of the society. Anyway,
Oh.
you can vaguely remember like skin tones. Like one of them had like a it was like slightly burnt coal, like kind of gray. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Can you start over on that part for me?
I said one of them was like looked like his skin tone was like slightly burnt coal, like kind of grayish, but it's like a dark gray.
I thought you were about to tell me like colloidal silver overdose, blue.
No. The other one had he was definitely tan. You remember the gray one had kind of like large, bushy, but slicked back, like greased hair, and then the tan one. Sorry, my throat. And then, but you can tell that the tan one had like, kind of like a dude's undercut hair. You know what I mean?
Gray guy greaser and kind of like a pretty boy looking dude with her.
Okay. Now, are these the only other people you saw?
There's
From
a couple. There's like one. I think there was another one. I don't remember the last one or two well enough.
You remember someone else with blonde hair, someone other than the pretty boy with blonde hair, and someone with black hair.
Blonde, black hair.
Is that all? One person, or is that 2 different people?
2, I think. I don't know.
That's not much to go off of, but
I'm like pinching the bridge of my nose, like, dude, like y'all just like woke me up. Y'all just woke me up, and I think I'm about to die.
All right, sir. If you could put your hands behind your back, please. Because you understand, given what happened here, we do need to, bring you in for a little bit more intense, thorough questioning.
I will give them a dejected shrug that's supposed to be taken as I guess, and go ahead and give in to the demands of the police.
Roll perform. I'm kidding.
Roll perform. Dude, I have a -1 on that. Please don't.
You put your hands behind your back a little bit too fast, they slam you to the ground.
He was hiding a weapon. I didn't catch it. Like Uncle Ruckus taking out his ID.
Dude, it's okay though. He has a backup wallet. Uncle Ruckus, I mean.
That they also thought was a weapon.
Yeah. Okay. Layla, you kind of slept in this morning, given the day's events. No one came to wake you up for duties on the ship, given what you'd gone through. They all felt that you could use a rest. Probably D also told them to leave you alone for today, so that way you could have some space if you needed it. But like not to. No one's actively avoiding you. It just seems that they'd let you sleep in.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So you're awake now, still on the ship. What would you like to do on the ship? Just a second. Sorry, Fan. You had a question, real quick.
I was asking if it was Douglas or the other one, because I didn't remember if the good tracker was supposed to be with Layla.
The good tracker was not with Layla.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't remember.
I should say one of the good trackers was not with Layla.
Okay.
Because this group has multiple. Thank you for reminding me about that.
But
anyway,
Layla would probably get up and go out and then just look around and probably just wake up, try to wake up while doing like normal morning shit like stretches and shit to get the blood pumping.
Well, yeah, you're just
Oh,
having
hell
kind
yeah.
of a normal morning then after what's happened.
Get one of them stretches where you like lose half your neurons for like 3 minutes.
You see Gade sitting on the top deck, just kind of sitting there drinking. He's got a bottle of rum and a glass next to him. You see that Douglas is a little bit active this morning. You see him climbing up into the crow's nest. Sometimes he naps up there. When you're in port, he's allowed to nap up there, not out at the sea, because he's not the lookout.
Ah. I'll say that Layla's still pretty concerned about everything that like happened and is trying to relax, but she doesn't believe that like it's over at just that. So she's still on edge.
Okay.
Because it felt a little like to her a little more than just like the one like owner's operation.
Yeah. That's probably a fair assumption. You can gather.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to do other than wake up and do some stretchies?
Herb.
Okay, then see when you get back.
I guess she would probably go to Dee's office and not only see if there's anything that she needs to do in the morning, but also ask him to see if he thinks there's still anything weird going on.
Okay. Well, yeah, you see Dee in his office, just kind of this time instead of having papers strewn about his desk, you see him looking at a world map on his wall. It's pinned up on the wall now, which normally it's on his desk under his paperwork, but it's pinned up on the wall. You see a few like little what do you call them? Like the little pins with the red dots on them that people use for sewing and conspiracy boards. You see those in a few locations on his map. There's no strings connecting them. It's not like a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy board, at least not as far as you can see. That's a quote from Charlie, right?
Yeah, it's from
It's Always Sunny.
Always Sunny.
Yeah.
There's Pepe Sylvia, and there's nobody here that worked by the name of his name Pepe Sylvia. So I had to figure out where. Sorry.
Pepe Sylvia, more like Pepe Salvia. Got him.
That's hard drugs.
It is a drug. You're right about that.
But yeah, like she's gonna go up to D, sir.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm curious if there's anything that you need done, but also
No, you relax today. You've been through a lot.
Speaking of that, is it me or just I don't know? It feels like things ended a little too quickly.
Huh? You think they ended?
Yeah, I didn't think that. Well, that's the thing is like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's ended because everything feels a little odd, and that's why I'm having a hard time relaxing because of that.
What kind of odd?
Well, the circumstances feel a little odd. It feels like it's a little more than just the one restaurant doing everything. Like,
Probably is, yeah. I want to get in there, but the heat around the building's a little too high right now with guards investigating.
yeah, because there was the entire. I was all the way out into the forest, and I could still hear that voice.
Mm-hmm. I think it's stronger out there.
Yeah. My guess is that like, whatever it is, it's way more than just this guy getting meat for whatever it is he's doing.
Yeah.
For Wyatt's sake, I kind of want to figure it out.
What do the meat piles look like?
Let me. This is me saying. Let me think. What would? I guess I'll have to do a history check.
Yeah, do a history check for me to see if you can remember if there were any weird shapes in the meat.
I got. What would history be on mine?
Just do it like based on intelligence bonus.
All right, then I got a 12.
Okay. With that, you can't remember any specific shapes. You can just kind of generally, you remember that for some reason in the room there was metal on the right side. There was the raw fresh meat in the middle. It looked like it was kind of in like a mound, but there was like a harsh wall to the side that was closest to you. This includes the little scraps of Wyatt's clothing that you found with the pin, and then the rotten meat was off on the left side, kind of hugging the ice there for this cold room. And the rotten meat on the left seemed like it was following the curvature of the room.
Yeah, then she will tell him.
Okay. Huh. Really want to get down there now. Can't afford it though.
Yeah.
Go into town. Get something to eat or something.
She'll do a big stretch and yeah, all right.
And he tosses you a coin pouch.
She grabs it and then does like, I'll say she has like a little polite bow to say like thank you, and then without having to expend any more words.
You want to bring something with. You should probably bring someone with you, safety in numbers and all.
Yeah. She'll go out and I'm trying to remember who was it that went with her.
The two that went with her,
Gade
it was Gade and Douglas.
And then
Douglas is the
who
simp
was-
slash lookout for when you were down in the cellar, and Gade was the one who said that he heard strange. I forgot what I said about him. I think I said it was. I completely
Some
forgot what I said
singing?
he heard. I think it was singing, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He said it was the wind, and then he said that the wind was the name of a song his mother used to sing to him. If I remember that now. One of them said that. We'll say it's Gade for now until I remember.
I think it was
Until
Gade
I look
anyway.
back at some point. I think it was
Until
Gade,
you
though,
upload the
yeah.
the previous session.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So she's gonna look for the guy that wasn't with them because she's gonna want to let them have a break.
Okay. That would be Fern. He was the one that you sometimes work with, who you did not work with yesterday, and you see him. He's working with the mooring lines right now. It seems that Dee's getting ready to leave port, although, like, from the way that things are going on the ship, it looks like you guys are getting ready to leave port, but with the way Dee was in his office, he does not seem... It does not seem like you guys are close to leaving.
Yeah. So she's gonna go up to Fern and be like, "Hey, Fern?
Yeah?
D wants me to relax and just go into town.
Oh,
but
have fun
he
then.
wants me to bring somebody along just for protection's sake. Do you mind coming with?
Oh, well, let me finish this up.
Layla will
Just, practicing mooring. Gotta keep those seamanship skills up.
Yeah. Layla will do a little nod and then go relax while she waits.
Okay. Now the man, the myth, the rat. Despero.
Yeah.
You are awoken in your holding cell by someone banging something against the bars.
I'm just gonna barely open my eyes because I would have been up until this point that I fell asleep. I would have been
Basically, they would have
shaking the bars. I would have been like, I'm innocent.
Basically, they would have kept you up questioning you, but you kept saying I'm innocent, without even letting them get anything in. And so they just threw you into the holding cell to wait for you to pass out.
Okay, I'm gonna open my eyes just a bit. I'm gonna be like 5 more minutes.
Then you hear the clanging again. Get up.
10 more minutes.
Get up.
What do you want?
We need to ask you some questions.
Dude, you locked me up. You think I want to talk to you now?
You were transporting drugs. What do you mean?
I was reporting that there's someone with drugs out there, and I took some as evidence.
Do you know what the little leshies told us? They told us that you were trying to have them hide it. Do you know how that looks for you?
Hide it because we need to save the evidence.
Oh yeah, you need to save the evidence for your own personal consumption. I see how it is.
Need to save the evidence in case I die.
Oh, what are you gonna do with it if you die?
Hopefully someone else finds the evidence and reports the crime.
They're not gonna know a crime happened if you die with it.
Well, maybe those little guys can tell them.
Well, you know what? Guess what? We can't even write down that a crime's happened if you're not gonna tell us.
I told you. No, I didn't tell you?
No.
Oh.
You
My
didn't talk at all
boss?
yesterday.
Oh, yeah, okay. My boss has drugs in his basement. That's about all I know.
Man, if only. Man, I wish you'd started with that yesterday. Ugh. Why did you? Okay. Can you please stand up, sir?
This bro is a mysterious creature.
I'm gonna sit up. I'm like, yeah.
I need you to stand up, sir.
Oh, I'm okay. I'll stand.
He waves his hand and another guard comes over. We're gonna take you back to the interrogation room. Are you ready to talk to us now?
I just told you everything I know.
Are you ready to talk with us now, sir?
What else is there to talk about?
This guy. And he looks to the guy he just called her, was like, this guy. Why did it have to be him? Why do we have to have someone like this?
There were drugs in his basement?
Why does it have to be one of these that we had to bring in yesterday?
I'm like, uh-oh.
Is that racially charged?
You
I
don't
think
know
he's
yet.
just frustrated with me, a difficult witness.
Roll society to see if you know.
I don't think I want to check.
Sir, can you please make this easier for? Can you please just?
Okay.
Okay, please face the wall.
Okay.
Okay, after you turn around and face the wall, you hear them open your cell door. They both come up behind you. You feel your wrists being tied. That way, like, you know, they're just trying to officer safety and all. And they bring you to the interrogation room, sit you down. They untie your hands in there and link them. They're not behind your back anymore, but they're linked to the chair now. So, do you mind telling us what all happened yesterday? This is a guard you've never seen before sitting in front of you in the interrogation room now.
Who are you?
Oh, that's no matter. Sir, can you tell me what happened yesterday?
Well, no, that does matter. Where's the other guys?
They're not interrogators, sir.
Well, then why were they asking me questions over there?
Because...
Asking all them questions.
Well, what questions did they ask you?
They asked me what happened.
Alright, and what was your answer to that question?
My boss has drugs.
Alright, can you elaborate further?
He has drugs in his basement.
Alright, do you know any kind of quantity?
I'm not good at measuring.
Use your best estimate, sir.
It'd be like... If I was, like, cooking with it, it would be, like, a lot of food.
Okay, how much... If you were making a casserole for 1,500 people, how many do you think could be fed with that amount?
Ooh.
Like, you needed to make it for 1,500, but you surely could not reach that amount.
Maybe at least 100.
Anything more?
Maybe.
Are you certain?
I'm certain maybe.
That That would be a no to the question then, sir.
Oh,
Because you're not
then
certain.
no, I'm not certain.
So you're certain around 100 persons.
Maybe more.
Perhaps more, but definitely somewhere near 100.
Yeah.
All right then. How did you come to be at this establishment, the seafood shanty?
I was just looking for work. I'm an aspiring chef. I want to open my own restaurant one day, but I figured I could start out by working somewhere else.
What kind of restaurant do you want
Maybe
to
get
own?
some connections and stuff.
What kind of restaurant would you like to open?
I don't know. I want to serve all kinds of food. Maybe like different days of the week. We like switch out the menu.
Well, perhaps why not swap it out weekly then, rather than each day? You buy supplies for a week. You plan out what your menu will be for that week. Perhaps do that on a month-to-month schedule. Plan out which weeks you'll be swapping to what. But anyway, we're getting off
But
track.
like a whole week of the same stuff. Like we could do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday one thing, and then Tuesday, Thursday another thing, and then Saturday, Sunday another thing.
Well, did this place, the Seafood Shanty, have such an idea with their menu?
No, I just needed work experience.
And how much work experience did you get there? If you could quantify it with a number of days.
I saw a racist guy for the first time.
No. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. He was reported by other patrons. We spoke with him yesterday. If you could quantify... Let me rephrase this. How long did you work there?
Not that long.
How many days would you say? Or weeks?
Maybe a few.
A few days or weeks, sir?
At least a few days.
Alright then. How well would you say that you knew the owner, Tobias?
I didn't really talk to him.
Were you a tenant of his before you worked there, or when you gained employment?
Was I what?
A tenant of his before you worked there, or after you gained employment?
After I gained employment.
Alright then. Did you see any strange goings on there before this incident yesterday?
No, not anything that I can think of.
You see the man pull out what looks like some tobacco and his own rolls, and he starts rolling a cigarette. Would you like one?
No, I'm okay.
Are you certain?
Yeah.
You look like the kind who enjoys who enjoys a good cigar every now and then.
I just make it my own way. If I don't make it myself, like my hands, I don't like other people's fingers touching it.
He holds out the tobacco and the wraps to you to see if you'd like to make your own.
You've already touched it. It's over.
Oh, I didn't touch it. I simply opened it and poured it in.
That's
And then
too
rolled
much.
it. Interesting. Interesting. He leans slightly forward. Interesting, and then he leans back in his chair.
I'm like, yes, interesting.
Indeed,
And I do
indeed.
the same thing.
Interesting.
Sorry.
And he goes on with you like that for like about 10 minutes to see how long you'll do it.
Like,
Angel, do you do it for the whole 10 minutes?
yes,
I'm
100%.
glad to hear that. We're getting off track, and he like kind of like waves his hand like, nah, we should get back to what we were talking about.
Literally did that
Okay.
for 10. Did that instead of his job for 10 minutes. Someone else had to be there to watch this questioning.
Yeah. They're being watched all right.
Huh?
Why does it keep closing it? Oh, I half lost my train of thought. Interesting. Yes, quite.
Indeed. Quite.
So, did you witness any odd behavior from your employer before this incident?
Not really.
Not really, or no?
No, I don't think so.
I'd like you to please think as hard as you can.
I don't really remember anything.
All right. Then how did you come about finding this illicit material?
I was on my break, and I was chilling outside, and then I saw this pile of leaves. And then I was like, oh, leaves. And then I kicked the pile of leaves, and there was a basement. So I was like, oh, okay.
Interesting. So, did something bring you down to this basement or cellar?
No, I just went down with my friends.
And who might your friends be?
Well, some of them are my friends. One of them's kind of weird.
Which one?
Suspicious, even.
Which one would you say is strange or suspicious?
One of them claims to be blind.
We're throwing me under the bus, man.
Pardon me?
Hell,
One of
shows.
them
What?
claims to be blind. Don't tell anyone I told you, by the way.
Certainly. This stays between us.
One of them claims to be blind, but I know they aren't.
What leads you to believe that one of them is lying about a disability?
No way this person knows where everything is.
You. How do you mean they know where everything is? What do you mean?
They left the restaurant on their own.
You do understand that they can move about on their own.
Into a brick wall?
No, they have tools to help them move around, sir.
No, I didn't see any of that.
Have you ever met a blind person before?
I have a cousin who's blind.
Are you certain?
That's what I'm saying!
No, are you certain that that your cousin is actually blind?
No, that's what I'm saying! Like, are you sure they're blind?
This is incredible.
No, but he was definitely blind. He died fast.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. At least we knew he wasn't lying.
You do realize that there are many blind persons who can move about freely.
No way they just know where things are.
Well, they can. It takes a bit of time, but they can learn the layouts to buildings that they
What do
frequent.
you mean, learn the layouts? This is like the middle of the city.
Have you ever walked
Like
through your own
Horizon.
home in the middle of the night when it's too dark
This
for you to
doesn't
see?
look like their home.
Bear with me. Have you ever walked through your home in the middle of the night when it's too dark for you to see, but still you know where the bathroom is?
I'm usually able to see a little bit. You know, like, light reflecting off the surfaces, as it does.
As it does from time.
It does do that, yes.
Yeah, so there's usually, like, a little bit of light.
God help
I'm just-
everybody that has to talk to Desperado.
I'm just trying to understand.
No, who has to question him? Talking to him is not a problem.
Why
He
did you
actually
feel the
gaining
need to...
information is-
I'm going to avoid this for now. Why did you feel the need to bring the material with you when you left the basement?
Well, at first, I thought it was Cajun spice. And I was like, this guy's been stealing
Cajun
my
spice?
recipe. Yeah, I make Cajun spice.
What is Cajun
You
spice?
put it on food, tastes good.
So it is a spice, is what you're telling me.
Yes. Uh-huh.
It sounds interesting. Well then, do you know of anything else that happened that day besides this incident?
Someone saved me that day.
Who saved you?
Jesus.
Basically. My boss was assaulting me, and I screamed for help, and I saw a guy with a golden halo around his head come to save me. He was a big guy too.
Do you have any other descriptor than a golden halo around?
He was a big guy.
Do you know what he was wearing? What hair color he had? If he wore glasses?
Must have been asleep for this part of the camp.
I think he had hair.
Do you know what color it was?
I love this so much.
I'm utterly confused as to whether or not any of this actually happened.
No, this all happened.
Sir, please, do you know? Angel,
I
roll
don't
history.
remember.
Angel, roll history for me, please. Please, Angel.
Okay.
Thank you, Angel.
I don't remember.
You remember he
You
was
don't know?
wearing... All you remember is that he had a halo and he was wearing an all-white suit.
He had a halo and he was in all white.
Okay, so a large... Do you know what kind of clothing it was?
You know, like the halo you see on angels?
No, not that. You said he was wearing all white, yes?
Yeah.
Do you know what style of clothing it was? Was it a business suit? Was it casual attire?
A suit? I think.
I suppose this information will have to do for now.
And then he saved me, and then I ran out, and then those little guys told me that this is actually drugs.
And then they brought you to the officers who arrested you yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to turn it in, and then tell them about my boss has drugs underground.
I see. Surely you can understand where this strange miscommunication came from, yes?
I just tried explaining to them that I found drugs.
Sir, given the way that events have transpired yesterday, you truly see nothing wrong with this?
I guess we could say there were mistakes on both sides.
Yes. Well, thank you for your time. I'll be back momentarily.
Okay.
And then he leaves the room and just leaves you there with your thoughts. Okay, Olivia. Breakfast has finished. Lydia is walking with you and a few of the guards to the place to see if there's anything they can find there with your assistance. You're still confused as to why, because it doesn't... Well, it really doesn't make sense why they would bring someone who helped report a crime back to the crime scene. That's really nonsensical to you, as it should be. But still, you've agreed to go, and so it has come the time for you guys to head to the seafood shanty.
No, there's a good amount of times when witnesses or people that were directly involved can get brought back for it to see if they can remember any extra details being there.
I can't see is the problem.
Well, yeah, but you can feel.
No,
there were certain things that you still felt down there.
Don't worry, we'll get there. Okay, so you've made your way to the seafood shanty. They've carefully guided you down the cellar. They probably had a little bit more helping hand than they should have. Kind of overbearing, trying to guide you down. Even though Lydia is also there with you. They also brought her there. Miss?
Yeah.
Is there anything you can tell us about what happened here?
Well, we came down here and I heard one trap go off.
How do you mean a trap went off?
I heard something hit a wall. I didn't find wherever that one was. But I heard it echo as whatever solid metal object, I believe, hit the wall.
All right.
And then I came. She feels a wall exactly how she did yesterday and went back over to the hallway she had been in.
Okay.
Sorry.
As she's feeling the wall, Olivia actually kind of feels something press against her hand as she's taking the same path she took the day before.
She paused and her hand feels it.
You
Like
just
she's
feel the
focusing
wall
on it.
under your hand, but it feels like there's another presence there pressing on the other side, if that makes sense.
Like it's a cloth or something?
No, not a cloth. Like, kind of like that cliche thing in that couples will do in movies when they have to like leave each other, where there's like glass or something clear in the way, where one will put their hand on the other side.
How am I feeling that?
See, that's the question.
She's gonna push on it?
Okay, you just feel solid stone. Olivia just feels solid stone when she pushes against the wall.
Hmm.
The sensation seems to leave when she pushes against the wall. Is something the matter,
She's like
miss?
fixated on that spot.
Is something the matter, miss?
I just felt something push against me right here.
How do
It's
you
gone
mean?
now, though.
How do you mean push?
She's like thinking on how to describe it. Like there was a hand pushing through it to some extent. Like it felt different, and it alleviated after I pushed back.
Alright then.
Like whatever hand was there is gone now.
That's very odd.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize for forcing you to move on so quickly, but could you please show us
Yeah.
the path you took yesterday?
Okay, well, I was right here, and I had my probing cane, and I found a tripwire here.
All right.
She waves her probing cane kind of in the general area it was in. I found it, and thinking it might have been the same trap as whatever hit the wall earlier, I pushed on it with my probing cane to trip it, but it was a different type of trap.
All right.
I heard something flying through the air, or something fired and fly through the air. Crossbow, maybe.
Well, that would make sense.
I managed to avoid it, but Lydia took a hit. Still sorry about that.
It's all right. It's all right, Olivia. I'm all right now.
After that happened and we tended to her injury, we continued forward. She started walking forward.
Lydia kind of grabs Olivia's hand, like, please don't go back in there, because she doesn't want to have to look at that again.
Throw up or something?
Yeah, she doesn't want Olivia to throw up, and nor does she herself want to see the gore in there.
Yeah. She just paused. We continued down and made it into the room ahead of us. It smelled disgusting in there.
I hate to ask you to figuratively go back to that, but what would you describe the smell as?
Rotting flesh. Blood.
Alright then. We've had a bit of a cursory look down here. Just in this area and the one next, the next cavern over to it. And, well, yes, we did find rotting flesh down here, next to raw meat and cold storage. We we're currently working to clean it up, at least for now. Now that we've had a few artists sketch out the scene of this.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was basically as far as I went
All right.
walking around here. I didn't investigate where the first trap triggered, nor know if there's anything else.
Well, thank you very much for your assistance, Mess. Is there anything else you can remember about being down here? Any odd sensations, sans the one that you just experienced?
I've been hearing voices.
Did you hear them down here?
I did.
What did the voice sound like?
Female.
Would you say young or
young?
old? All right, young. An
Young
adult
female,
or a child?
and then adult, like young adult.
All right then. I'm sorry I cut you off a moment ago. What were you saying?
No, it's okay. And it was a young female voice, and sometimes I actually heard my mother's voice.
Would it be all right if I got your mother's name?
Lily 2 Voidwalker.
Thank you, miss. Do you know, was there a direction that it was coming from, given us retracing your steps?
No. It usually in my ear.
Like someone whispering to you?
Yeah.
Alright, well, you've been a very great help, miss.
You're welcome. She wants to get out of here.
Well,
Yeah, who likes talking to the police?
you two are free
Yeah,
to
she's
go
gonna-
whenever you need.
Thank you. She's gonna guide herself to head back outside.
Okay. As you two are heading out, as you and Lydia are heading outside, the same feeling you felt against your hand happens, but this time under your feet with each step. But it feels like they're trying to go in a different direction than where you're going.
Like, which direction?
Like, with you heading towards the door, after a little bit of heading back towards the stairs, it feels like they're trying to take you to your left.
She's starting to step, like, really weird. Like, she's noticing a difference in the floor.
Olivia, are you alright?
That same sensation when I was touching the wall is now right beneath me.
How do you mean?
It's like somebody's pushing back on me, like, in the floor.
Against your feet?
Yeah. And it's not walking the same direction as me. It's going to the left.
Oh, that's down the path we didn't take yesterday.
Should we tell the guard?
I think you should.
Hello?
Yes, miss?
I feel that same sensation in the wall.
The one
in the floor now.
So it's pushing against the bottoms of your shoes?
Yes. And it's like, I think it's like trying to lead me to my left.
You feel like it's trying to lead you somewhere?
I think so.
So, down that path there.
There's a path there?
Yes, miss. Sorry, I forgot for a moment. That you can't see.
She's going to pick up her probing cane, but she's not going to move from where she is and just kind of wave it around to the left.
It's further down. We're more in the middle of the room.
She's slowly going to walk left.
Miss, this is an active crime scene. I'll need you to... Unless you're planning on giving further statements, trying to see if you can remember more, I'm gonna need to ask you to stay here.
I don't know anything else, but I don't know, things could be revealed if I investigate.
Miss, I really should not be letting someone do that. Do you have a... I'd need a compelling reason.
I don't know. I don't want to. It feels like I should.
Well, I think I may need to ask you to leave then.
Okay. She's gonna take a minute to retrace back to the stairs.
Lydia gently guides Olivia back to the stairs.
Okay, she goes up the stairs.
Lydia's been oddly quiet this whole time, though.
Lydia?
Yes, Olivia?
Are you alright?
I just don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, neither do I.
I'm glad we're finally getting to go. Ugh. This place is rotten.
Yeah.
Let's go find something to try and take our minds off it. How does that sound?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Alright. And Lydia gently carefully leads you back into town to try and find something to do. What?
She just follows her wherever she goes.
Do you have any hobbies?
What?
Do you have any hobbies?
Oh. I misheard you.
What did you think I said?
I don't know what I heard.
Okay. Well, yeah, Lydia asked if you have any hobbies.
I like to go on walks. I like to read whenever I can find a book with Braille in it.
Perhaps we can go to the library then.
Maybe.
How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Maybe we should get something to eat first. I'm feeling uneasy after that. I just need something.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Okay. Layla, you are in town with Fern.
I guess she's gonna look for like anything to do in town that's not near that fucking restaurant.
Okay. The way to go for that would really be like the kind of southeastern-ish end. If you're wanting to do kind of fun, more touristy things, you'll want to stay above like the quote-unquote south end of town. If you're looking for more going out for a good drink, from your time here, you'd know that you'd want to go into the south end of town, but you still need to keep an eye on your back there just because of where it is, just because of what kind of people tend to be there.
Yeah. So Layla she'll stick to somewhere she'll stick to somewhere safe because of everything going on.
Okay.
But just away from the restaurant because she doesn't feel like being there. And away from the forest, of course.
Okay. Fern taps your shoulder and says, hey, I heard you want to go shooting?
Sure.
Something new here. I haven't really heard much about it. They've got these
Sounds like a plan.
They've got these neat hand cannons.
Hand cannon?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Sure.
He leads you kind of southish in town, past a few restaurants, but you get to a place that says it's a shooting range at the top of it. There seems to be like both archers as well as people carrying these. You haven't seen them, but they seem somewhat common in this area. They look like D has flintlocks. They look like something reminiscent of that, but definitely more advanced.
Interesting.
There's a little old lady sitting behind the counter. She's got thick glasses on. She hears like the little ding of the bell as you guys enter. She's like, "Eh." That's the sound
That's
she
the
makes.
sound of the bell.
No, that's not the bell. That's the sound she makes when she hears it. She hears the bell and she's like, "Eh."
Give her the fucking voice from the teacher from Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy!
That's delightful.
The first time you've shown us Ultralord this week.
I just like the bird sound she makes.
I mean, her name is literally Miss Pfall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Layla will just look around and make sure that they're in the right place.
Yeah,
I guess.
you're in the right place. You see targets set up behind, like to the side of her. You see a hallway with individual stalls separated from each other with targets set up at the end of a room.
Like,
so you can tell it's
So
definitely some kind of firing range. You haven't seen one like this, but you've seen archery practice ranges, and it looks similar to that, just indoors.
so Layla will just be like, ma'am,
Yes.
we wish to.
Hello.
We wish.
She squints at you.
We'd like to go shoot her.
And she taps a sheet of paper she has in front of her on the desk. It's got a range of options of like either timing or paying by an amount of ammunition that you use.
Since Layla
If she does
doesn't
not
know
look like
check-
she can hear you, it looks more like she's telling you to point to which one you would prefer.
Since Layla has no idea how to fire the gun.
Yeah, Fern has no idea either. He just heard about them, and he wanted to check it out, but he's really confused by this place.
She's gonna shrug and do the buy ammo option, so they have time.
Oh, okay. She holds out her hand as if expecting something from you.
She pulls out some coins.
The old lady shakes her head. And you see her pull out, she pulls out an example of like a little plaque from behind her desk. It looks like a certificate. It says something about safety training on it. But for like, it's got really, there's weird things. There's a name slot, and then it says certified yes or no on there.
Layla's.
Fern points to the no, while Layla's trying to decide. Because he has no clue what this is, and he's like,
Yeah, Layla's gonna point to no as well.
And the old lady goes, oh! And she steps out from behind the desk and motions for you to follow.
Layla will shrug and follow.
Okay. She leads you to a different room where there's a man kind of sitting behind a table reading a book. He's not aware of your presence at first, and the old lady, for some reason, does not interrupt him. Huh? Oh, hey.
We're not really sure what's going on.
Oh, she brought you back here. That means you need to do some safety training.
Alright.
Yeah, you guys must be new here then. A lot of people around here already have the training. Sorry, she's hard of hearing. She doesn't let me work the front. I would like to. It makes things easier, but I only really can when when she decides, when she has to go out for something, or God's forbid, like she kicks the bucket, then I'll finally inherit the place. But anyway, so how are you two doing today? Bless you.
Layla's gonna pretend that she that things didn't happen yesterday, and be like, we're mostly okay.
Mostly?
Yeah,
Bless you.
as well as one can be, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, day-to-day grind and all that.
Yeah.
I have to go take my dog out. I'll be back.
Okay, see you when you get back, Angel. So, what brings you around here? Just heard about the place. Thought you'd come check it out.
Yeah, my buddy here, he heard about it and suggested maybe we go.
Gotcha. Well, here we have a safety training for this. We have a few different kinds. We got your handhelds and we got your long arms. Oh, sorry, I should say we have handhelds, long arms, and a blunderbuss. You look like a sailory kind of type. You should know a blunderbuss when you see one.
Does Layla?
Yes, you would. You would know what it looks like, though you've never gotten the opportunity to fire one.
Yeah, Layla will nod her head and be like, I haven't gotten to use one, but I know of them.
Oh, well, maybe you can today. We're just gonna go over a few safety things here, you know, and then I gotta quiz you on it after. Be sure that you really paid attention. You know, simple things like that.
Yeah.
He shows you like the different parts of a firearm. He shows you how to load bullets into it. He has practice rounds for it that are not live. That way you can practice that. You know what a stripper clip is, right?
Me, no.
Okay. Have you ever seen a video of someone loading an M1 Garand? Like that specific rifle? The one that has the funny ping when you go to reload it?
Yeah, maybe?
Okay, give me a sec.
Essentially, there's just like a little like small clip with the bullets open on it, and you'll end up putting that into the bolt for it, and then shoving the bullets down into
Here's a
the
2-minute
gun for it,
video.
right?
You don't need to watch the thing. You don't need to watch it, but here's a 2-minute video. Like, just the thing on the left is what it looks like.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
You put
Oh.
them in
what is
there,
it?
you shove it down inside, and then with that specific one, the metal clip stays in until all rounds are fired. But yeah, he shows you how to load it with he shows you specifically how to load what he's dubbed a long arm. And he shows Fern how to load a handheld as well as a blunderbuss. Well, he shows both of you that one, but like he doesn't really teach you those two. He just shows you those ones. He teaches you the long arm. He teaches Fern the handheld, and he shows you to the blunderbuss. Is how I meant to say that. And he shows you how to make sure that it's not going to accidentally discharge. You know, keep finger off the trigger if you're not going to shoot, if you're not ready to fire. Make sure that it's pointed at the ground if when you're not ready to fire, or up in the air, depending on how you're holding it. You know, prevent accidental firings, make sure not to drop it. There's not really a safety on these because of how early this is. There's not really like a safety on these to prevent it from being fully fired, although there's kind of locking mechanisms, but nothing like what we have anyway. Anyway, besides the point. That's besides the point. He's taught you how to use these, and so now he's quizzing you on it. He says, "All right, so however, he's quizzed you on it. You know how to use it. You're not really going to be an expert. You're not really trained with it yet, but you know how to use it." And so he brings you out to the range. He hands you both cards with the certified box checked off. He said, "Just write your name on those and show them to the old lady."
So, Layla does that.
Fern follows suit. And then the old lady pulls out 3 pictures. They're boxes, but they're different shapes. There's a small, a medium, and a long. Or I should say, like short length, there's medium length, and there's a long length. From what you can gather from the training you just went through, those are the different firearms you can use here.
I guess she'll go with medium.
Okay. The old lady pulls a blunderbuss out from under the desk and sets it there. Sets it on the counter and gently pushes it towards you. Fern chooses the small one, and so he's given a little handgun. When the old lady comes out from behind the desk again and leads you out to the range. Because this is your first time here, she hands you both like a small box of ammunition for each of your chosen weapons. And just let you have fun at the range for now. Until it comes time to pay when you use all of that up. Or she gets tired of seeing you over there when she happens to look. You see her engrossed in knitting while you're over there, though.
So, yeah, she's going to essentially do the shooting, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, while you're having an interesting time shooting, we're gonna go to Winsby. Winsby, how are you doing? You are now in police custody.
Yeah, I got brought in for questioning.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool of me, if I do say so myself.
That is very
Did
cool
they
of you, 'cause
get
you
my
weren't
Leshy
willing.
interpreter?
They did not, actually. You picked one up along the way. What would you like to
Yay.
name it?
I need a moment. I didn't think this far.
This is your familiar. Take a moment. You may also give a general description of what it looks like, but I will finalize what it's specifically made out of at some point, okay? Is that okay, Then? Or do you want to do that?
I want him to have long sloth arms and
You can have long
small...
sloth. I'm just saying, like you do that, but I'll say like what physical material he's made out of.
Okay, that's fine.
So long sloth arms and small.
Little long sloth arms and then like small like stubby legs. It's funny.
Okay. So is an anteater like an anteater or pangolin shape? Fair to say? I'll say anteater.
Yes, I want him to be. I just want him to be like, I just want him to be some like a pangolin, or some like weird four-legged small four-legged creature.
Okay.
Except he has just like arms like 2.5 times longer than they should be.
Okay. Yeah, that can work. So he's made kind of like a little. He looks like he's made out of like grass roots that are leading into like pine needles. Does that make sense?
So he's a little prickly fellow.
Yeah, he's a little prickly. He's got fur, but it's FIR instead of FUR.
Yeah, I understand.
And yeah, he's got extra long arms, but he's got tiny little stubby legs. You can see he's got knees there, but like his underbelly looks like it's made out of mud. His back and the tops of his arms have like the little pine needles sticking back, like going down his body, and it looks like he has little like how to describe it. Do you want him to have like long, slender fingers or claws?
More like claws.
Okay. He's got claws that look like it's made out of wood, but they kind of look reminiscent specifically of like long rodent teeth.
Oh, like me.
You're not a rodent. You're a hyena.
Yeah, I know, but I'm treated like a rodent here.
Worse than one, actually.
Oh, damn. Alright, I guess that's better.
The man who's been questioning you and been dealing with you and your new little Leshy familiar he's kind of had a shortish temper with you. Like he's been much less patient, it seems, than you think he should be, given the circumstances, as well as how
his
willing
name's
you were
gonna
to
be
come.
Arnalston.
Arnalston is your little Leshy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Arnalston's having a hard time translating for you, just because of how apprehensive this guard is about things.
No, because he's like trying to dance around a little bit.
He's not dancing around, but he's overly scrutinizing like every detail you give.
No, I didn't mean the guy. I meant
Oh.
the Leshy is like trying to like dance around it a little bit, dance around it. What I'm saying actually saying a little bit to like try and like get this guy to calm down a bit.
No, the Leshy's like
Just
just
like, well,
saying
yeah,
exactly what you say to what you say to
for
him.
sure. That's even better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Leshy's basically just saying what you want to say out loud for you. So if you'd like to give a voice to the Leshy, you may.
We're about to start furiously signing at this man.
If you'd like to give
Hold
a
up.
voice to the Leshy, you may.
Hold up, I need to finish writing his name real quick, because...
Now, is it spelled like Arnold, S-T-O-N, or is it Arnolston? No D.
It's Arnolston, A-H-L-S-T-I-N. A-R-N-A-H-L-S-T-I-N.
Okay.
Alright, so where are we at in the questioning? Because I imagine I'm trying to respond to this man.
Where you've gotten in the questioning is to after the events of going into the cellar with asking what happened after you went back up into the restaurant.
Okay. Look, it's my second day on the job. The rat guy I was with, the manager was like trying to shake him down for something. I guess it looked like he took something when we were in the basement, and then our manager found out about it. And so he like tried to shake him down. And then the rat dude just yells something about he's being like sexually harassed or something, I think. Or like he's being sexually assaulted. And then this guy that was like horribly racist to me the day before gets up, grabs the manager,
Whoa,
and
now
like
hold on.
slams him into the wall.
What do you mean when you say horribly racist to you?
Oh, like that's not really relevant to it might not have been horribly, but it definitely was a bit of a standout.
You know, I think it is relevant. Like, what do you mean? You're kind of
don't see how
treated
this-
fair enough here.
Well, that's why I was saying I don't think it's horribly. It was just like stood out to me a bit. Like it was just my first day on the job. I can't really talk, and I was just trying to work the few tables, taking care of the dishes from.
Okay, I'd like to go back to the cellar. What did you mean when you said that your friend grabbed the substance?
I thought we went over this already.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be sure that you.
There's like the room that I followed him into to try and get him back onto the back into the restaurant proper. Like, we went to a room filled with like it just looked like a ton of drugs in there. I just tried to have him get out.
Did you grab any for yourself?
No, why would I do that?
Well, I
don't
know a
even
lot of
what
people.
It was down there, just that it was a drug.
I know a lot of people you come from enjoy partaking in that sort of thing.
I'm from the woods around here.
You don't look like it.
Racist.
The guy just gave me. I don't know why he even let me stay there, quite frankly.
Yeah, I don't know
He
either.
also gave me a work uniform. That's why I'm dressed like this.
The door to the room opens, and a much more soft-spoken man enters. He says, "Don't worry, I'll handle the questioning from here on out." And the man you were speaking to like grumbles to himself, but he leaves. I apologize for him. Are you all right, sir?
I don't know. A lot's happened in like 2 days that I thought I wouldn't have to deal with.
Well, what a lot happened. I suddenly got a job. Found my manager creeping around his restaurant, and that he had a weird hidden basement. And then, like... No, I understand that you've been down to this basement. What did you see down there?
The next day, like, a bunch of us started hearing voices, and I had to get my coworker...
What does this voice sound like?
It felt like a really weird brush of wind to me, but it seemed like everyone else heard something specific.
Well, have you heard a voice at some point these past few days?
No. I don't believe so. There's just been like weird suggestions.
Have you had any
like,
odd dreams?
The forest. It felt like the forest trying to guide me outside.
That is very odd indeed. And you see him scribble that down in his notebook. Have you had any odd dreams as of recent?
Hold on. Shit. Yeah, I don't remember it well. Like a couple days ago.
Well, can you do your best to give me the information from it?
I was like really scared of something, and then a girl came up, and everything just seemed better.
Do you find
don't know.
comfort in that things were better when she was there, or was that disheartening or unsettling?
What was I afraid of before it?
Was there anything before it in your dream?
I don't know. Just
when you awoke, were you comforted or unsettled by this strange revelation in your dream?
Unsettled, I think.
And why would you be unsettled by it?
Whatever was going before it. I don't trust the sudden relief that I felt in it.
What if it's perhaps a loved one you saw in your dream?
I've never seen that. Well, it could have been, but I don't know. I really don't know. Okay.
I understand. Thank you for cooperating with us. We have no reason to suspect you of anything, so you'll be released.
Trying to get more details about the cellar or something? I can go?
Yes, you may go.
Okay.
And he stands
Thank
up,
you.
kind of gently grabs your hand to help you stand up and walks with you out the door. I'd like to apologize for Terrell.
Terrell?
Yes, that was the man who was questioning you before me. If you need assistance or would like to report more suspicious behavior, please ask for Detective Gluskov.
Well, do you know any cheap places to stay? I don't know if really staying at the seafood shanty is gonna work out.
Well, we can't have anyone staying there for the time being. We can provide you with lodging temporarily while the investigation is underway and while it's cordoned off as a crime scene. Come with me.
Thank you.
It will be difficult to find you lodging on this side of the city, but if we... Are you alright staying further south?
I can probably make it work.
Alright. It's my understanding also that you live regularly out in the woods with these little ones, and he gently pats your leshy.
Yeah.
Would you prefer to stay there, or would you prefer temporary lodging?
Probably rather just stay out there.
Alright then. I'll bring you out to the woods.
Do you, have any, plans or need to, try and get in touch with me later about this?
We may, but there's nothing concrete at this time.
Alright, cool.
Like I said, you're free to go, and he walks you to the exit of this interrogation area and brings you outside back into the city.
Wait, they didn't even ask about the rat. That's funny.
Yep, that's funny.
Sorry.
You're fine. Despero.
Yes.
You have not been released from custody yet. You are still a prime suspect for transport of illicit materials.
Man, I don't even know what to tell them.
Well, they feel like you're hiding something. The man who spoke with you earlier comes back to the interrogation room you're in, and he sits down across from you again. Sir, I'd like to ask you a question. I've spoken with others who were present during the events, during yesterday's events, and
My jaw drops. I'm like, I got backup.
yes, I understand that you may not be part of whatever scheme Tobias was running. However, I've heard that you were all hearing strange voices. Have you?
I'm gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna think to myself. Would it be better to tell him? Because I don't want.
You don't want him
seem
to think you're
Like
crazy.
the other people. I'm gonna ask him first. Like, what do you think of the people that hear voices?
I have no opinion on them personally.
Yeah, I did hear a voice.
And what did this voice sound like?
It sounded like my mother.
Just your mother? Were there any other voices?
I also heard my father.
What were they saying to you?
The reason I took my break from work was because I heard my father's voice.
And was it guiding you to do
Telling me
something?
to go outside.
Did it
And
guide
so I
you down
went
to that
outside
cellar?
to confront him. And then I heard my mom's voice. And she's supposed to be dead, so...
Now you say supposed to be because she did die, or because...
Yeah, she's dead. But then I heard her voice. And nobody better be keeping my mommy in the cellar.
Well, I'm certain we would all be distraught at the thought of our parents, our loved ones locked away somewhere. I know I would be distraught at that thought.
Yeah, that's why I went down there.
What is your relationship with your parents like?
Why do you ask?
Well, because you said that you were hearing their voices.
I don't have a great relationship with my father. But my mommy died when I was young.
Would you say that you had a good relationship with her when she was here?
I gotta check my backstory for that. I already forgot.
The idea of him actually telling the officer that.
I like the idea you actually say to the officer. Then I like that. I need to check my backstory real quick.
He pulls out his journal that they somehow didn't find on him.
Why is there naked Goku in here? I'm just looking through our DMs. Come on.
What
What?
the hell?
Angel,
Angel,
you
I
put
feel
that
like you're the
there.
one that sent that.
Angel, you put
I
that
know.
there.
I know. I lied.
I knew exactly why there was a naked Goku in here.
That's really what just happened.
I don't remember what DMs I put them in.
I remember. I think it was a generally positive relationship, if I remember correctly.
What is it in
I
the
just
DMs?
wanna.
In
I
the
was just
chat?
trying to remember when she died.
Would it have maybe been in the DMs for
check.
the campaign rather than actual DMs?
I'm trying to look. Give me a sec.
And Twitter fucking whack with how little of your timeline you can view on mobile. I want to be able to scroll to 4 months.
My mom
while
was
I'm looking
killed.
through my
Yes.
feed.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, so I was alive for a bit while she was here. Or she was alive for a bit while I was here. My relationship with my mother was quite good.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm sorry for your
loved her
loss.
dearly.
Oops.
Yes.
Sir, would you be willing to go back into that cellar?
No,
I understand.
my boss is gonna find out,
Sir,
and I don't think he's happy with me as it is.
Sir, I regret to inform you that your boss is dead. The
So
altercation...
what's gonna happen to his restaurant?
Well, it will probably be bought by the city and the building space repurposed to whoever can afford it.
Would you say that the city would reward a respectable soldier for finding the smuggled goods?
The city believes that doing a public service as great as that is reward in and of itself.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to the cellar.
All right then, understandable.
Why? What's in there?
Well,
You find my mom?
no, sir. There was no one else in there by the time that we arrived.
Oh. And why not? Sure, I'll go.
Oh, just like that?
What do you mean? So there is something there?
No, not that we found. I'm just surprised that you changed your
said
mind.
just like that.
Well, you changed your mind on a dime. I didn't even... It's just surprising. You talked yourself into it.
You know, I don't think I want to go anymore.
I thought that initially you didn't want to.
Yeah, I don't think I want to.
Don't worry, sir. There's no need if you truly wish not to.
There's truly no need. I was wondering if you could. I was thinking it might be beneficial to the investigation.
Would you say this city rewards people, good soldiers that help with investigations?
Well, you may be rewarded, you may be compensated in some way for the assistance, but...
Alright, let's go.
It would not be enough to buy a building and go through the permits to convert it to a new establishment.
Every penny counts. I gotta start saving up. I'm not getting paid by my boss anymore, so I gotta make money.
Alright then. And he brings you... We'll need a bit of time to prepare.
Oh, okay.
We can also provide you temporary lodging in the meantime, given that, well, you were staying there. So please, follow me.
Great.
Say again?
That would be great.
Yes, follow me. And he leads you out of the building and to a nearby inn. When you get to the inn, you see a few of the chefs from the kitchen. They're also living there. They're living there for the time being while they try to find new work and new homes.
Damn, feel bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Olivia, what were you doing again? You were going to get food before trying to find the library, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have been fed. Lydia just needed something to settle her stomach, so she just went to... You guys went somewhere to like a little market. She got some bread to snack on to settle her stomach, because normally that helps.
Mm-hmm.
And now you two are at the library.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Lydia's up at the front desk asking if they have anything in Braille, and they do. They have some folk stories from your home country of Amalthea you overhear them talk about.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know that it's your home country, but, I mean, naturally you do.
Mm-hmm.
There's some folk tales from here that they have in Braille as well. But sadly, most of what they have for the blind seems to be children's books. Rather than more traditionally... I don't want to use the word sophisticated, but you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah. Just not common to have Braille books.
Yeah. They primarily have kids' books, and it's not that many at that.
Mm-hmm. I guess she's just kind of like navigating,
Okay.
feeling book covers.
As she's feeling book covers, Lydia brought her over to the Braille section. You hear them kind of chatting about what's in the books. Lydia sounds a little frustrated with the selection of Braille that they have, but there's not really anything that she can do about it.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just I was hoping they'd have more for you. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Is there anything here that piques your fancy?
She's gonna feel the braille ones.
Okay. The first ones that you feel are tales from Amalthea, local legends, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you also see one that your hand runs over also is related to not Amalthea, but the next door nation of Pisces.
I guess she'll pick up that one.
Okay. What's that you got there?
This one is about our neighbor country in
Oh,
Pisces.
well, do you know much about it?
A little.
Well, what do you know about it?
What
you would know, not specific details, what Olivia would know is that they're kind of, it's a very religious country, but you don't
Sort of
really
tell
know
me about
anything about the
astrology.
religions. Angel. She doesn't know that that's what it's about.
Angel, the answer is unironically yes.
It's part astrology, mostly astronomy, but the religion is...
Yeah,
it's like a weird mix of it.
Astronomy!
But none of you currently would really know about it, because where you are, it's not dominant at all. There's a few people who practice it that you maybe have seen wearing like weird robes out in public, but no one seems to question them. But it's not really talked about here.
Makes sense.
So yeah, all Olivia would really know is that it's a religious country, and that they have, you know, that they have ranks in their religion based off of celestial bodies. So like star,
Religious
sun,
doctrine.
comet, moon, maybe the names of different planets, but you're not sure.
Well, one thing I know about them is that they're very, very religious.
Well, I've not really heard of them.
Yeah,
That could be an interesting read.
maybe. She opens it and starts feeling around on the first page.
Okay. As she feels around on the first page, it's just kind of an introduction. In Braille, you feel it say it's dedicated to the understanding of the lunar trinity of Pisces.
She translates what the Braille says to Lydia.
That's interesting. Anything else neat in there?
She feels the next page.
There's nothing really too interesting on this page. It's more dedications this time to specific people. None of them sound noticeable. There's no real ranks there. Yeah, it's just a few names like author's credits, a little bit of a publication date. I can check it out for you if you'd like.
Short book. Feels like a really short book. She flips it up and to the next page.
I can check it out for you if you'd like. That way we can look over it a little more in depth, in a probably more comfortable setting.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Okay, so she gently takes it from your hand, that way she can go up to the front and check it out. When she returns to you, would you like to stay and browse a bit further, or would you like to head out?
Probably head out since they don't have much options.
Alright then. Yeah, it's mostly kid stuff.
Yeah.
Well, alright
I
then.
don't fault them for that.
Yeah.
Well, wherever you go, I'll follow.
Alright then. Why not to a spa or something?
A what?
A spa.
A spa?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Alright, and then as you head out... Oh, sorry, my throat. We're gonna go to Layla and Fern. Fern is done shooting for now. He didn't really feel like paying too much more because the ammunition for these things is kind of expensive. When you first... You know what is it called? Let me check. What's it called? Give me 2 seconds. Where is it? Give me a sec. Give me an athletics check. Layla.
I got
That's the closest one I can think to it.
a dirty 20.
Nice. Just like you were taught, although you didn't get to hold it the way that you did the long arm when you were getting trained in firearm safety, when you fire this blunderbuss, you brace yourself just like the man showed you. It's a similar way to how you brace with the long arm anyway, and when you fire, you feel the blast, you feel it just kick into your shoulder, but you stay standing. You don't move much, but you can really feel the recoil of it.
Nice.
It feels honestly a little bit exhilarating.
Nice. I don't really have anything to add.
Yeah, that's fine. Fern's just kind of sitting there, waiting for you to finish up there. He's had his fun. He thought it was kind of novel, where he thinks that it's just kind of a fun trinket to play with, not really something that's going to catch on. You done there yet, Layla?
Yeah.
Alright, let's head out.
Layla follows with, obviously after appropriately paying.
Mm-hmm. We should get food.
Yeah.
You eat yet today?
No.
Alright, yeah, let's go get food. As you guys are heading out to get food, you see Olivia and Lydia walking. They're kind of headed, what is it? Not away. They're headed to the side of where you're going. Like you're heading straight. They're heading like towards your right.
Oh. Layla will give a polite like wave to Lydia.
Lydia kind of like, she grimaces a little because it's making her think of the previous day's events. She grimaces a little and is hesitant to say hello. But she does. She waves back.
Layla will give a, like, sort of her own grimace of, like, yeah, I completely understand.
Mm-hmm. Layla kind of whispers to Olivia, "Hey, the Fox lady's here. We're passing
really?
by. Do you want to say hello to her?"
Sure.
Alright, let's stop here then. And they stop and wait for you and Fern.
Yeah, Layla will
Isn't
go.
that the
will
girl
go
that
up.
Douglas was into?
Yeah.
Now's his chance again. Even though
No.
it's not here.
Wrong
Too bad
guy.
he's not here.
Yeah, I know
not
it's
here.
Fern.
Douglas is up there in the crow's nest and he sees her in the distance like
No, he's taking a nap up
He
there.
falls out the crow's nest
No,
and dies.
he's taking a nap up there. He's asleep up
dives
there.
off the ship to swim over there.
He swims through the land.
Exactly.
No, he's
Goes
taking a nap up in
full
the crow's
Senor
nest
Pink.
since we're in. Since you guys are in port, he's napping up there. That's why he's not allowed
nice.
up there while you're sailing, because he sleeps up there.
But yeah,
Comfy.
she's how you guys doing?
Could
I
be
hope-
better. Could be better. Went to the library
okay.
a bit ago.
There's
Yeah.
still a whole lot of stuff on my mind about everything that
Yeah.
happened. Still, like,
Yeah.
very much on the mindset of whatever was happening isn't over yet.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it.
But neither do we. So we're trying to get our minds off of it as little as we can.
Fair enough, I suppose. So what brought you two out this way?
We did that shooting range to see what it was about.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice place. Old lady
It's
that runs
unique.
it. She's deaf, I think.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Can hardly see without them glasses on her.
Yeah, basically, we just had to keep pointing at things.
Yeah, her son really wishes that he could just run the place already, but she's still kicking around too much for him to take over.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice seeing you. We're
Yeah.
heading to go try and relax to think about something else.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get a bite to eat.
Okay.
Hopefully nowhere near that place.
Layla, you notice that the pendant that the little thing that D had handed you a few days ago when you were going, or when you were initially going out to search for Wyatt, that is very similar to the symbol on the printed symbol on the Braille book that Olivia has. It's not something Olivia would feel. It's not embossed on there. It's more like it's like
Just
an
printed.
ink design on there, but there's still the Braille title, if that makes sense.
Layla will look at the book and go, "Hey, Olivia,
Yes.
do you mind if I see the cover of that book?"
Sure. She held it out to her.
She's gonna look at the cover of the book and then compare it to the symbol.
You see that it looks like it's not the same. Yours looks like it's one piece of this. Like there would be two more that would slot in. Like if you would need two more of like the same thing to make the full symbol.
Unlocks visual words in the book when all are placed together
Unlocks the ability to read.
with your eyesight.
But Layla will just be like, "How interesting. It's the same symbol."
What do you mean?
Everything all right?
Oh, this just a symbol that my captain gave me. To help us when we were looking for Wyatt. It has the same symbol as it has part of the same symbol that's on the cover of your book.
Oh, well, all I really know is that that's the symbol of the Church of Astronomy.
Oh.
When we were looking over it earlier, Olivia said that they called them. It was the lunar trinity of Pisces.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know, I didn't take D for a religious man.
Huh.
Who's D?
He's technically the captain of the ship. But
Oh,
he
it's a
doesn't
man.
Like us calling him.
I thought you meant like DEE.
Yeah,
It's besides the point.
never really known what D stands for. But yeah, he's the captain of our ship. Although he doesn't like us calling him captain, but
Yeah, he's the boss man.
yeah, he's in charge of the ship. Technically, he's my father, the closest thing to a father figure I have since he took me in.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's quite a funny coincidence. The similarity. I'll have to look more into that.
I suppose
Of course,
so.
of course, if you can read it, Olivia, I probably can't. So I'll probably find a similar book on my own.
Yeah, probably.
Is there like any? I hate to ask you about anything about that, but like, is there anything else that like happened on your end that maybe like we should know about just in case? Like, just in
Related to what happened?
yeah, just in case, like, just in case, God's forbid, we have to ourselves go down there and double check for our own sakes.
Well, we had to go back down there this morning. We were requested to by guards.
I wouldn't be surprised if the guards asked us. Is
Yeah.
there anything that happened to you down there?
Well, I did notice a different sensation. Something was pushing back on my hand on the wall and pushing back beneath me when I was walking, leaving.
It was very odd to hear about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was trying. It seemed like it was trying to lead me down to the unexplored hallway.
Yeah, the way that we didn't go yesterday.
Huh. That's the same direction that the singing was trying to convince Gade to go down.
Yeah. There's something that wants us down there.
Whatever is down there. If God forbid we have to go down there, I don't know if, Lydia, you don't seem like too fond of me, but once again I'll say, if any of us have to go down that hallway, you should probably call us so we can all go as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be safer.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know where our ship is, and I don't like to have to constantly say it, but just a precaution of just, you know where we are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And try to have as best of a day you can.
You as well. You as well.
Layla's gonna give like a friendly like tap on the shoulder, just not for the sake of like, oh haha I'm here, but more like, yeah, I just don't feel like using more words.
It's like that kind of like pat on the shoulder, like, yep.
Yeah, kind of like that.
She just smiled.
And so she's gonna head off to find something to eat that is nowhere near that seafood restaurant.
Okay. Well, Fern follows you there.
Or at least not within the vicinity where she thinks that maybe the meat would have gone to.
Mm-hmm. Ironically, given the type of meat that was down there, it seems that getting seafood is a better bet.
True.
Because it looked like ground like land animal meat mixed together. Was what the meat piles you found down there were.
Damn,
Which,
they make
although it was a
sausage.
seafood restaurant, there was suspiciously no seafood down in storage.
My man's was an alchemist.
If only, fan. If only. You know,
Fish
but then you know
metal
what?
alchemist.
Fish metal alchemist.
Yeah, he makes fish like it's metal.
No, Fan. He makes the fish out of metal and other people's meat, but we don't mention that part. Fish metal meat chemist.
Mystery meatsmith.
Come here, my mystery meatums.
I'm trying to remember what that was actually from now. Mystery Meatsmith. I think it was one of the enemies in Yakuza, like a dragon.
Probably. The Suji Dex needs to be.
Oh yeah, the Sujis is like the best part of the game, collecting them all. Or destroying them all,
That's one of the best
rather.
Well, destroying them all makes it a good part of the game. Okay.
So yeah, she's going to any place that is not focused on like land animal meat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, in one of like the most touristy areas, back closer to port, you find a what looks like a decent, if not overpriced, seafood restaurant.
Layla's gonna shrug her shoulders and just sit. Better than going anywhere else.
Yeah. I'd rather be close to the ship anyway.
Yeah. So she's going to go in.
Okay. Winsby.
Yes.
Your little Leshy is patting your foot for no reason. He's just having fun.
No. Come go.
Yeah, Arnolston.
Arnolston.
Sorry, Arnolston is just having fun, like patting your foot, playing with your paw pads.
What a sweet little dude.
He goes like, "Oh!" He made that sound at you. How do you respond?
He makes such silly little noises. I'm gonna pat his head and lift him up like he's a small
He
child.
gently grabs your hand when you pat his head. And he looks at you and he goes,
delightful.
"Uppies."
Ew! Throw him.
Yes, my spawn.
Don't call him your spawn. You did not birth him. You did not create him. He is not your spawn.
I just felt that was the appropriate response to uppies with that voice.
Uppies. At least you didn't say progeny. That would have been significantly worse.
I should have. I was originally just gonna say child.
Child would have been fine. That's like the only
My
word.
young benefactor.
Ew, that sounds weird. Sounds like you're grooming him. Come here, my young
Dude, I'm
little
just a
benefactor.
philanthropist.
Okay then. He says, "I'm hungry."
Okay. Oh, what do you want to eat?
A food.
What's food to you?
A food.
I might need you to be more specific, little buddy.
He points at a tree nearby and you see a pine cone on the ground.
Alright.
He wants the pine cone.
I think I might need some food too. Let's go get that for you real quick.
Okay. After you get him the pine cone, he does not try to eat it. He starts playing with it.
Yes, was that food or a toy?
Huh?
You said you wanted food.
Yeah,
then pointed at a
I'm
pine
hungry, but he keeps playing with the pine cone.
Do I have to find food?
He shrugs.
Alright, we're gonna slap him on my back real quick.
Okay. Where are you going with him?
We're gonna figure out, find food for me.
Okay. He's just your hunger meter now. He tells you when
He's
you're
my
hungry.
rig.
No, he's not your rig, because he's just telling you when you're hungry. He does not display your health. He gets more and more withered like Jimmy Carter's peanut farm.
Sick.
Turns into cyberpunk and starts moving at incredible speeds.
You just send Davistan to like a peanut farmer. Or sorry, to like
He's
a
my
bar with peanuts.
Arnalistan.
Yeah, he's your exactly, he's your Arnalistan. See what we've done here?
It's all come full circle.
You with him on your back though, you can hear him sniffing in certain directions. Like trying to see what smells good.
Alright, you find something, little buddy?
Uh-huh.
Alright, let's point the way.
He gently tugs on your ears to steer you, and he leads you towards the south end of town.
He's ratatouilleing me.
He's ratatouilleing you. He's ratatouilleing with you.
I just got ratatouilled.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, where you end up going is he kind of leads you to a bar on the south end of town.
Oh, sick.
You've been to this bar before. You
Yeah.
haven't frequented it, but you have been there.
They seem to accept me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people here they don't talk to you, but at least they're not actively mean to you here.
Very nice. I appreciate that quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes the owner, he'll like give you an odd job. He'll say like, "Hey, come here," and he'll like let you choose something from the bar food menu, and then he'll say, "All right, I'll just have you like wash dishes or something to work it off."
Oh, damn, I already had previous busboy experience.
No, because he'd like just bring you to the
Not
back
like
and
real
have you-
busboy experience.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got dishwasher experience.
yeah, and
not
the man has
busboy
the man has a
experience.
Western accent. This is hey there, Wispy.
Yeah.
Saying howdy back is great.
We're signing howdy.
Yeah, he knows sign because of how long he's known you. He learned it so he could talk with you. Since you've been here, he's kind of taught you, but it's been very informal. So, like, if you were talking with someone who like formally knew sign here, then they would have a little.
Correct me.
They would, yeah, they'd try and correct you here, but they would also have a hard time understanding you. They'd pick out certain words. But he kind of knows how yours works, given
It's
how long
also
he's
a
known you.
regional dialect.
Yeah, regional being the forest instead of the city.
Yeah.
And he says, "All right, Wispy, what can I do you for today?"
Uh,
And he sets a menu in front of you.
Tauntaun brought me a job on the on like.
Whoa! Slow
almost
down,
on the
slow down. What would you like first? This time he put both a food and a drink menu in front of you.
What is on the food menu?
All right, there's fish and chips. There's chicky fingy. There's bubger. And there's the world burger.
The world what?
The world burger.
Is that like the vegan option?
No.
Is that just like a bunch of different?
All of
ground
your
meats
time, the
to
few
make a
times you've
burger?
come in here, you have never heard anyone order the world burger.
What is this?
You don't know. And he's not answering. He just kind of shrugs
No,
and
no,
smiles
I'm
at
trying.
you.
We'll go with chicken. Ooh, we'll go with chicken strips.
Chicken strips. Arnalston climbs down from your shoulders and also pats on the... He wants fish and chips. He looks at you asking if you'll get that for him too.
A little thumbs up.
That's his happy sound. That's his happy sound. You can tell this because he's your familiar.
What a sweet little fellow.
He's a sweet little fellow. He goes, "Ooh," when he's happy. All right, coming right up for you.
And then, wait, so is he just offering me 2 items?
Yeah.
So no drink because we got 2 foods, huh?
No. Wait, he's getting ready to have those like be made for you, but you haven't asked for a drink
sure.
yet.
He said he put a menu of each in front
Yeah,
of me.
he put a food
Alright,
menu
what's
and a
on
drink menu in front of you.
What's on the drink menu?
There's whiskey, bourbon, potato drink.
You mean Bowerbone?
No, potato drink. There's a few cocktails in there.
Bourboon?
There's rum.
Bruh. We'll have a little bit of that potato drink, sustainably sourced.
Sustainably sourced straight from the mud.
Excuse me, that dirt's dry as shit.
Alright, he gets you a little bottle of vodka in a shot glass. You can probably pour it yourself. I trust you. You know, just don't take too much.
we're just gonna do a double shot and leave it there for the rest of my stay here.
Okay. Takes a little while, but you get your food. Arnalston starts gently patting the fries, and he nibbles on them for his fish and chips. So you're getting a meal. You know that you're gonna have to clean your dishes after, maybe do some other work around the bar to work it off.
Yeah.
Despero,
Yeah.
Yes.
you're a free man now.
Woo!
But you're being brought back to the cellar now. Sorry to burp, but you're being brought back to the cellar now. You agreed to this.
Yeah.
You're being brought back to the cellar to see if there's anything that you can find there, given the strange voices and feelings you've been having lately.
Man.
Okay.
Like, so I just go down there.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna retrace
leave you guys.
your old
I'm at the
steps, go back
front.
to the area you went? The investigator has brought you down into the cellar, into the main room you were in the first time, when you just, like, tunnel visioned straight ahead to try and find your Meemaw.
I'm gonna jump up a little bit, like I'm getting ready to fight.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna charge straight.
Straight ahead, back into the same place
Yeah,
you went
like,
where the
don't
drugs
look
were?
anywhere, don't look anywhere, don't look anywhere.
Okay. The investigator follows you. Are you alright, sir?
Like, just focus. I'm saying it out loud.
I need you to calm down a bit, please.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. Am I close?
What do you mean? Is that Despera asking, am I close, or is that you asking, Angel?
That's me asking.
Well, you just went back to the room where the drugs were in.
Okay, this is where I found the drugs.
Alright. Now, how full was this table?
You remember what I bought? Like what I brought to you guys?
Yes, you had 2 bags with
Like
you.
a lot of those.
If you could show me with your arms how full was the table. He already knows the answer to this question, but he's asking to see if you remember or if you're trying to hide something. You don't know that, but I'm letting you as the person know.
But I do know how big it was.
Yeah, you do. You remember how full
Okay.
the table. It was like absolutely full.
I'm like this much, and I'm like trying to stretch my little arms out as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like this much.
All right then. Thank you for helping us with that. And did you see anything else in here?
No. I just went straight down to where I thought I heard my mom.
And so you thought that you heard your mother in this room, yes?
Or somewhere. I kind of just started running.
All right. You weren't certain
This is where I
where.
ended up.
Did you only hear the voice outside or after you came down here?
I heard it outside.
All right then. So you just went straight ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
She had to be here somewhere.
being here, do you feel any odd sensations? Any other voices again?
Not so far.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I think it's all right if you go.
All right.
I'll try and stay in contact with you.
Thanks.
Do you remember where I brought you that you could stay for the time being?
Yeah.
All right, then.
An elephant never forgets.
Well, sir, you're not an elephant.
Oh, in that case, I may have trouble remembering.
You can ask one of the other guards here if they can assist you back.
Okay. And I'm gonna run my way out of there.
You're just like running.
Yeah.
You look suspicious, but they don't stop you this time.
Once I'm out, I'm not gonna run anymore. I'm gonna just be like, whoo!
Okay.
Real spooky.
I see.
I'm gonna be like, okay, see you later, Mom.
A couple that were standing outside, like, look at you like, what? Who are you talking to? We're both
And I'm
men.
gonna keep walking.
One of them actually goes, wait, who are you talking to?
My mom was down there.
What? She's not down there now.
I guess she left too.
Sir, your mother was down there? Where does she live? We need to question her now.
Well, she's dead.
What do you mean she was down there then?
She called me down there.
You just said that she's dead. Which is it? Was she down there or is she dead?
I spaced out. Who's asking him this one?
You're making me think of a really bad meme right now.
Was he having an argument with randos on the street?
No,
With guards. It's not on the street. It's with guards back
who
at the
brought him
cellar. He was brought there
Well,
to.
she was supposed to be dead, but then I heard her down there.
Supposed to
and
be
I went
dead.
down there and I didn't see her.
Wait. Slow down. You said she's supposed to be dead. Did someone try to? Did you have someone try to kill your mother?
No, someone else killed her.
Before you organized it?
No, I didn't organize killing her. Some random guy killed her.
I'm sorry to hear that, but okay. So you think you heard your
Yeah, you
mother
should
coming
be.
from down here? Yes.
Man,
Well, it's because I heard her down here that I came down here, which I explained to the nice investigator guy.
Sir, I understand this is very upsetting, but I think you should try and rationalize your thoughts.
I'll go talk to my mom about it later, and I'm gonna just walk off.
So, what? They look at each other dumbfounded because you just were saying that she's dead, but then you just said you're going to talk to her about it later. They are just completely lost, Angel. They have no clue how to understand what you just said.
I am even lost.
Don't worry. I think this is by design.
This is based off of reality.
Reality.
The pain theme from Naruto.
I don't know Pain's theme.
Oh damn you, Clint.
Angel, you know I don't watch Naruto.
I don't know it either, but that's because I've only experienced
anime.
I've only experienced Naruto through the Storm games.
I'm brokenhearted right now.
Starts playing Pain by 3 Days Grace.
My heart broke. Dan, did you say you watched it?
That's a no.
I plead the fifth.
That's a no.
My heart has been broken 4 times in
That's
a row.
a no.
Angel, I'm sorry. Angel, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just haven't watched it that much. It was like one of those older brother shows that I couldn't get into because he was way too into it.
Yeah. So, Despero, do you just head back into town? Are you gonna do anything on your way there?
I'm gonna go to the inn and convince all the guys there, all the chefs and cooks, to open our own restaurant together.
If we pull our money, we can make our dream come true.
You can try. There's like 3 of them sharing one room because the place is kind of low on space.
Okay,
there's about it before.
But I mean, like, because of where you are, their room was next to yours. You saw that the door was open when you got there because they were kind of moving in because they don't know how long they're gonna be staying here.
I bet they're mad. Despero got his own room.
No, they opted to stay together.
Actually, I'll do that tomorrow morning. The next day, I'm gonna go rest in my room.
Okay.
Fair, valid.
Well, then we're gonna skip a decent amount of time. Layla, you've gotten food. Olivia, you had your nice spa day with Lydia.
Hey, sounds delightful.
Are you alright having headed back to Lydia's home after the spa day? I heard from far away?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm making my bed.
Okay. Well,
lot of bed making today.
Oh shit.
Now that you are back at Lydia's home, you've kind of unpacked what you have and you're relaxing. You feel Lydia's away at the moment. she's upstairs taking care of something. She's trying to relax more. She decided she would have a hot bath to try and relax more because she's still having a hard time getting her mind off of yesterday.
Huh?
You feel in what Olivia feels is in her pocket, the thing that Jeff gave her yesterday, it feels like it's buzzing.
When your pager
She
goes
frowns.
I expected to be the one to make the pager joke, not you.
Olivia frowns, tilting her head to the side a little bit, like, what? She reaches into her pocket and pulls it out.
Okay. When you pull it out, the buzzing feeling from your pager is getting a little bit.
Pager?
Yeah, your pager. You heard me.
Oh, fine.
The thing
Thank
that he
God.
gave you, it's buzz. It gets stronger, and it seems to get that way when it gets closer to the table.
She is like waving it around a bit, and then
As you wave it around, you
figures
feel it
out.
particularly like you feel the buzzing particularly strong when it passes above where you set the book down.
She set it on the book.
Okay. When you set it on the book, you feel a very strange sensation in your eyes. Everything is still dark, but you see some odd lines around the place. Some violet and blue lines kind of circling around you.
She starts looking around.
You just kind of see them around you. They're not. It doesn't seem like they're doing anything.
What the hell? She picks up the book.
When you pick up the book, you see the front of it highlighted, and you can see the symbol on the front of it. It looks like 3 arcs. 2 of them, the insides are facing each other, and they're all touching only on one side of each other. It's the best verbal description I can give of it.
Okay, you'll have to draw it later.
I will.
Okay. She is just bewildered. She's gonna open the book.
Okay. As you open the book, you can see the braille in there, but that symbol seems to permeate through every single page.
She's just flipping pages.
Okay. As well, there's nothing that really stands out other than like the highlighted. You can see what the braille looks like. At least right now you can. It has the same colors as the odd lines around you.
She looks at the pendant.
The pendant is like physically attached to the front of the book.
Oh.
Yeah. It when you said it. Sorry, I should have said when Olivia said it on the book. It seems to have attached itself to it. Like think like a strong fridge magnet, really.
She's going to pick up the pendant from the book.
Glad you can still take it
It
off.
takes a slight bit of effort, like it was stuck on there, but when it comes off of the book, you can no longer see the strange glowing lines, and you can't see the symbol on the book either. It's completely dark again.
She puts it back on the book.
Well, the same thing as
She's
before
just-
happens.
She's like, what the hell?
The same thing as before happens. You can see the strange lines in the book symbol. The braille is highlighted.
Can I roll Arcana on the
Yes, you may. Roll occultism too.
occultism? Oh,
Both Arcana, 2 separate rolls.
2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll get a different one. So occultism is this one, and that one's Arcana. Occultism got 18.
Okay.
Well, wait. Well, it would be a very over dirty 20. So
Give me the full number.
18,
Your bonus is 6, right?
24.
Yeah, 24 for occultism.
And then Arcana, I got a 22.
Okay. You can tell that is... How do I describe this? I see it so clearly in my head, but then describing it is weird. You can tell that this pendant and it seems not physically the book itself, but the contents of the book are linked to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems that the pendant that Jeff gave you
Uh-huh.
is some sort of relic, or it holds some sort of power within this church of astronomy.
Huh.
And so that seems to be why Jeff said that if someone of this group was giving you a hard time, if they saw that, then they would ease off a bit. But you can tell that this is definitely the key to opening something regarding it, like, say for instance, like maybe there's something else hidden from that this pendant will be linked to as well. It's the pendant itself is like a key to reveal something hidden, but it would have to be linked to this religion.
Mm-hmm. She just holds the book close to her chest and just kind of looks around.
Okay. She still cannot see her surroundings, but there's a very gentle glow on the floor that kind of highlights where it highlights a path around obstacles.
Curious. She is gonna make her way outside.
Okay.
So she can look up.
So she can look up.
Yeah, look at the sky.
Okay.
Considering the church is connected to
The 3 moons.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see one of the moons almost directly overhead, but you can't tell which one. Because you can't make out details on it, but it has the same colored glow as the lines, or as the lines you saw inside the house earlier. You can still feel a little bit of warm sunlight, like on your upper body, but it feels cooler on your legs, so it feels like it's around evening time right now.
That's weird. She's gonna open the book and start feeling the pages to read.
On the page you've opened, you can see that the braille dots are actually different right now. It's only one line on the page that she sees, and it reads Pisces. So, yeah, it reads Pisces, and it's the same color as the moon that you can see right now.
So, like, it's identifying that moon as Pisces?
It would seem so, yes.
Interesting. She's still trying to read to, like, see if she can gather any more information out of the book. Despite it being a children's book.
Well, this one was not a children's book. This one seemed like just something that got donated because it's in Braille, and maybe the owner doesn't know how to read that. This was one of the few non-children's books. Most everything else in Braille was a children's book, though.
Oh, okay.
They did not have a great selection. They had maybe one shelf with Braille books on it. There were 2 or 3 that were meant for more intellectual reading, but there was this as well, and then the rest were children's books, and it was 1 or 2 shelves in the entire library.
Okay.
You said that she continues reading?
Yeah.
The next page asks a question. It says, "What's your name?"
She's just paused with her fingers over the question.
With her fingers over the question, she can kind of feel something gently rise up, more letters under it. It feels like maybe the alphabet. Is she looking at the page still, or is she just feeling the braille on it?
She's just looking at the page.
Okay, looking at the
and
page, she
has
can
her
see.
hand on it.
Okay, looking at the page, around her hand, she can see the alphabet come up in braille.
She is bewildered, but she slowly starts spelling her first name.
Okay. The text in the book changes to say now, "It's nice to meet you."
She's freaked out by the book. She's still staring at it so she can kind of see it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the first thing that freaks me out. The what?
She's completely freaked out by this fucking book.
And then it starts talking, and it's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Then it asks if she wants to get a free pager, and she goes, "What?"
Still staring at the book. She's like, hello?
It changes to say hi.
Who are you?
You see it tells you to look up,
She looks up.
and you just see the moon in the sky.
You're the moon?
There's no response.
Pisces?
There's no response further than that, but from the information you can gather, it would seem, right at this moment, it would seem that that's a yes.
She's just quiet for a few minutes as she debates on asking it questions or waiting for it to ask questions.
As she's waiting, as Olivia's waiting, she can hear Lydia coming outside because she finished her bath. It was not working to help her relax, and so she was coming to see if Olivia was okay. So you hear Lydia coming outside to check on you to see if you've
You
wandered
just
away.
see her just like staring at this book.
Olivia, are you
Huh?
alright?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, you wandered off on your own. I wanted to be sure you were okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. She's not sure if she should tell her just yet. She wants to figure out more about this book.
How come you came outside on your own?
Fresh air.
Alright, just I want to be sure you're okay. Please, if you need some air, just let me know next time.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's alright. I'm about ready to start on dinner. Would you like to come
Okay.
back inside?
I will in a few minutes.
Alright.
I won't go anywhere.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Alright. So Lydia, after a hesitant moment, she heads back inside. Jeff he'll be home late, so if you hear someone enter the house in the middle of the night, it's probably him.
Okay.
He's out running his bar tonight.
Okay.
Just thought I'd give you a heads up.
Okay. No problem.
Stay safe out here.
Did you say
Please don't wander away.
I won't.
Thank you. And she heads back inside, leaving you alone with the book again.
Did you say
Okay.
running a bar?
Yeah, I did, Fan. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Olivia's realizing if she starts talking aloud, she's gonna look like a crazy person
Mm-hmm.
talking to a book. So she's like, okay, I guess I can probably.
The letters are still on the page if she wanted to try and spell out words.
Yeah, and it'll look like she's reading too. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of.
She should probably flip a
So-
page every now and then to look like she's reading.
Yeah. So she sits down on the porch.
Okay.
And
She feels a new question that says, "Who's she?"
she spells out my guide, Lydia.
The book then says, "I could be your guide." I got you out here, didn't I?
Oh,
she spells out, I guess.
Oh,
So you can see it?
Huh?
So you can see it?
The moon, yes, and the lines in the light.
See? We already make a great team.
Maybe.
Well, offer's still open.
What do you know about what's happened here?
There's no
If you know
response to that
anything.
question.
Are you involved?
There's no response.
If you're not able to answer any of that, then it makes it harder for me to trust you.
Just the word up shows up again.
She slowly looks back up.
The moon looks a little bit more faded than it does earlier. I should say dimmer.
Puzzled, she looks back down at the book.
It says time's up now. The word time appeared in front of the word up.
Huh? She looks back up at the moon.
The light of the moon that she can see is still dimming.
What's happening?
The words time's up are still on the page. Olivia can still see like the very soft glow on the ground, but the lines that were circling her earlier have also started to fade away.
She slowly closes the book. She picks up the pendant and puts it in her pocket again.
Okay. As Olivia puts the pendant in her pocket, she can smell Lydia's cooking. It smells like what Jeff was making earlier, maybe not quite as strong though.
Olivia's just sitting, staring into the air.
Well, now that the pendant is no longer on the cover of the book, the lights on the ground have faded. The faint glow on the ground has faded away, and so has the moon.
Okay, so she's back in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you, Mama? She stood back up and went to make her way back inside.
Lydia hears the ring. She says, "Oh, are you all right, Olivia?
Yeah.
Are you sure?"
She puts the book on the table and kind of stares at its general direction.
Are you sure you're all right?
This is a weird book.
How do you mean?
She held up the pendant.
Well, what's that?
This thing, your husband gave it to me.
Jeff gave that to you?
Yeah, it reacted with the book.
How so?
It started vibrating in my pocket, and when I put it on the cover of the book, I actually started seeing things.
Lydia, like, kind of you hear her rush over to you, and she kind of snatches the pendant out of your hand. Oh wait, sorry. Did Olivia take it out of her pocket to show her? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Lydia kind of rushes over and snatches the pendant out of Olivia's hand.
Are you okay?
Wait. Sorry, I need the bet. And she hands the pendant back and goes back to the kitchen to think about things while she finishes up cooking.
She's puzzled. She returns the pendant into her pocket.
Okay. Layla, you've had a kind of decent day of just doing nothing, trying to keep your mind off of the other day's events. You and Fern arrived back at the ship a little while ago. You see Scrungeon sitting on a table on the top deck.
Well, at least Scrungeon's okay.
He has a fish.
He even has a fish. Sorry.
Is there anything you'd like to do now that you're back on the ship?
Does the ship have any books?
There's a small library, but there's a small collection of books, but it's all in the captain's quarters.
Probably not the best place to go looking about things that he gave her.
Well, I mean, you could ask him about it if you wanted.
Oh, I guess so. Layla will go into D's office then.
Mm-hmm. You can see that he's made some new markings on the map since you were last there. There were red pins in it only earlier. Now there's 3 or 4 green pins, all in like the northwestern continent.
Hey, hey, D.
Yeah.
It was I came out of something really interesting along when we were out. I found that made me that I just had to ask you about because I found it interesting.
All right, what's up?
We ran into one of the people that was there with us in that basement, and she had this like book, and like on it it had like what felt like a bigger version of this of the symbol that you gave me.
Oh. Describe it to me.
So Layla will hold out the symbol and she'll be like, well, it was kind of like this was a part of the symbol, and then if it looked if you added what'd you say,
like 2 more,
2 3
2 more.
Like if you had 2 more of this, you'd get the full symbol.
Yeah. So did you want to ask something about it then?
Yeah, is that like what is that? Do you know?
It's the symbol for the Church of Astronomy.
Huh. I didn't take you for a religious man.
Oh, I'm not religious. I don't believe.
Oh.
I mean, the gods exist, but I'm not a follower of any of them. Just they've had some odd activity, to say the least.
Ah. Yeah. Not surprised. There's a lot of oddness involving a lot of things nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, them in particular, though. Weird disappearances, people joining the church and then, being completely different people after. That sort of odd things. No definitive proof of like their involvement, but yeah.
Maybe I should go find her and warn her.
No. She should be fine.
I hope so.
Well, I mean, given who her mother is, she should be fine. Don't know.
Does he know that?
He has eyes.
Oh.
I mean that figuratively, not literally.
Yeah.
You're a dang. Come on.
He has eyes, unlike other people.
Yeah, unlike some people.
I'm sorry. Mine don't work.
But yeah, he has figurative eyes. So you didn't really know that before.
So Layla will just sort of blink and be like, "Mom?"
Yeah, she's here searching for her mother.
I knew that, but is her mom something special or something?
She's been investigating him.
Oh.
Don't know if she's a believer or not, but I know she's at least been looking into it.
Huh. Still, Olivia herself seems kind of lost involving a lot of this. I'd hate for her to get roped into anything.
Well, I'd hate for that too, but yeah, the will of the gods and all.
With that, Layla will walk out and think, and she's hearing that there's weirdness involving that church. She's going to like actually be worried because she's like, there's already been weirdness targeting Olivia that's also targeted her.
Keep that pendant close.
She doesn't.
Sorry about interrupting you,
All
but
right.
he's just saying keep that pendant close to you.
Yeah.
That's the symbol of the moon Jensum.
Alrighty.
Normally
Thank
it'll
you, sir.
ward off Pisces. It was what the rumors are.
Do you have any extras of these?
No. Not that I can give out.
Do you know if there's any way to get any extras of these?
Join
that
the
I
church.
could get? Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Or, take it from a member. If they happen to have one.
Then I guess I'll have to look around.
Yeah.
Oh well. Layla will head outside and
Try and rest easy way. He says that as you're leaving.
She's kind of utterly worried. Because she's thinking about like the fact that the symbol like disrupted some of the things involving the boots and everything, and she's thinking like, oh, maybe this is involving that.
It's a fair assumption.
She's gonna see if any of the guys are not busy.
You see Douglas climbing down from the crow's nest. And you see Fern. Fern's kind of asleep, sitting in a chair on the deck. You do not see Gade, but he's probably fine. When you left, he had not left the ship at all, so he's presumably still here. When he's here, he's normally not out on the top deck.
Alrighty. So she's gonna look to Douglas and be like, "Hey, Douglas,
I just woke up.
I have... Well, I don't know if it's good news, but it might be good news for you."
Ooh? What do you mean good news for me?
So, you know that blind girl?
Yes.
I'm a little worried for her
Wait. What kind of...
safe-
Wait, what? Is she okay?
I'm a little worried for her safe. See, you know all this weirdness that's been going on with us, right?
Yeah.
Well, Dee told me about how there's a symbol similar to this one that she pulls out the thing again.
Yeah, the
A
thing he
similar
gave you?
symbol. Yeah, there's a symbol similar to this. That's something called Pisces. I don't know anything about any of this.
That's the name of one of the moons.
And apparently, there's weird stuff involving the church involving this.
What?
And this symbol here wards off the stuff. And
Wait, which one is that?
sh-
Did he say?
he did, but Sammy doesn't remember.
That one is the one he said was Jensum.
This is of Jensum.
Oh, that makes sense then.
And so, and you know how this warded off the thing that was going on in the woods, right? You
No,
know
it makes
that.
sense now. It makes sense now. I think. It's
So
wait. Why would D have that?
I don't know. He says he's not religious, but he says you also have to get this either from the church or from people who are in the church. But what's important right now is that it wards off Pisces. It stopped the thing out there in the woods that was trying to lure us and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she had a book with that symbol on it that she must have gotten
Wait, what?
rather recently.
Okay then. Should we go now and try and find her?
That's what I'm thinking, because the weirdness it might not be connected, but you know, and I know that you at least like her enough to want to see her every time we see her, so maybe you'll want to come with me so that I'm not going alone. And besides, if this symbol is helpful, then maybe we should at least go and make sure she's okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So Layla's going to head and try to find.
As you
where
get
they
to
were
the top deck, actually, you see D up there. He looked like he was waiting for you. Now that you're out there, he announces to the crew, everyone stay on ship, stay on board tonight.
Huh? Why?
The full moon. And that's the only reason he gives.
Uh-oh.
From your years with him, you know that D has always been odd around full moons. He's always been kind of superstitious of the lunar cycles. And with what you've just learned, it seems that this is directly related.
This is gonna make Layla even more nervous.
Uh-oh.
I just squished a
Oh yeah,
cockroach on my wall.
My man ain't about to lose a crew member.
Then I really thought you were about to be like, my mayonnaise.
My
What?
mayo.
Damn, I thought you were going to say like my man, but I thought you were going to be like my mayo.
That very cool. Was literally not even in my mind.
I know, but it was in mine.
But
Very cool.
now Layla's even more nervous.
Fair.
Yeah, she should be.
She's gonna look to Douglas to see what he thinks.
Douglas kind of backs off and starts heading back down to the lower decks. As much as he wants to be sure that the blind girl is okay, it's not worth disobeying D for that. At least not to him.
Layla's gonna think. If she has that book on a full moon, She's probably in danger.
D motions for you to go back to his quarters with him. Layla.
She'll follow.
You're worried about her?
If it's a full moon and she has a book with that symbol on it,
She'll be
I'm just
fine.
a little worried. But everything seems connected to that.
It is connected to that, but she'll be fine. Trust me.
But how do you know?
This is her moon.
Her moon?
Yeah, it's a full Pisces tonight.
But what does that have to do with Olivia being in?
You said she has a book with the symbol of the church, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be fine. This is the full moon of Pisces.
But wouldn't that be bad?
No. It's just we don't go out. We don't go out on these nights. And he like pats your pocket where the pendant he gave you would be.
Yeah.
That's why we don't go out on these full moons.
Oh.
If it was a full moon of Jensen, we'd be fine. Or Cain. But tonight's Pisces. We don't go out.
Oh. Well, all right. But I hope you know that I'll go and make sure she's okay in the morning.
That's fine. Just not at night.
All right. She'll head back down, hoping that, because if things are a little weird to her right now,
Mm-hmm.
but she's gonna trust for now. She has no reason not to trust, but it's a little odd to her still.
Okay. I kind of want to end it soon because it's just past midnight. Sorry, Than. Sorry, Angel. But Angel,
That's
you,
fine.
yeah, Winsby, you had gone back to live in the woods with the Leshies there. You're
Yeah, they're
getting
nice.
used to having your new familiar. You feel a bond with him, as well as like because he just kind of came to you from the road while you were walking to be spoken to by the guard. As well as this, it was a Leshy you'd never met before. But
He just gets me.
Yeah, he just gets you, and so you feel a very close bond with this one. So this Leshy, Arnalston, is your familiar. Now, Desperil, after a long day of being imprisoned, and then finally being let free, you just kind of went home, went to bed.
Wonderful.
You're gonna try and
Get some
you're gonna
good
try and
sleep.
you're resolved to try and get the former employees of the seafood shanty with you to see if you guys can start your own restaurant, but you decided to put that off for today, given all you've been through.
Yes.
Okay. And with that, it will be a good night for everyone.